Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. Dynamic change in the history of Eternum last night as the forces of Strawberry successfully secure the medicinal hot springs and resort destination of Ebonscale. KOTT News crews were on the scene with some old familiar faces who continue to be straightforward in their intentions.
Hello, Blind. Would you care to say a couple things about the outcome tonight?
Yeah, sure. It is what it is. We just we come in, we do our thing. It's not our first time on Dorado. It's like our third stop. It's just the classic, come in, take a Tory immediately, and then inevitably kill the server, because nobody will be able to kill us. So, GG's.
Disconnected from your channel.
In all competition, please come push immediately. Please come push. Looking to hire invasion players, anybody that likes to do invasions. We can't even pay our own guys to show up, so pay other people to do it.
Following the brief exchange, the company immediately rebranded and begun issuing harvested hemp exclusively to due-paying union members, available daily. Too busy to stay for a spa day, KOTT traveled to the overcast region of Morningdale to get reactions from their war as well. The payout line was only just beginning to form up upon our arrival, so we spoke with one of the participants about their experience.
At some point, they had the point to probably 10% ticked. Only 10% though.
Whew, only?
Yeah, maybe like 15%. I don't know, not that much.
Yeah, I guess it's not that much to worry about until it's actually about to flip, right?
Right, like if like the right people, like if the right people die, 3 or 4 people there, then yeah, they can go in after that. And then respawn timer. So yeah, with timing, it can be scary.
Moments later, we were able to speak with company leadership and get their reactions to tonight's events.
Tell us about the fight. How'd it go out there?
Well, you know what? We tried a few different things. Majority of them didn't work. We won't be using those again. But again, we had a little issue between A and B point. We gave up all 3 points kind of early. But once we got in the fort, we came back very strong, held it for 20 minutes. Our shot caller was very on. He was on it today. He was good. Hubby Wubby from Playhouse was doing an amazing job. So big props to him. But it was just, you know what? I think everyone needed this kind of work because it was just back and forth, kind of tense. So everyone had a really good time.
I was speaking to some of the participants earlier who were inside the fort, holding it down with you. Some of them felt actually quite comfortable. So apparently your shot caller really had things well under control.
He did. And after the war was over, it was noted by many people. That was the very first thing they said. He did an amazing job, and he did.
Later in the evening, we spoke with an exhausted shot caller after their split outcomes.
Yeah, I can talk about, I can just go in right now and talk about both wars. For Ebonscale, I'd say GG to all the Dawnguard and everyone else that was in that war on purple side. Play against people that are really at that level just so we can see where we are and then, continue to improve and focus on our gameplay.
Rather than thinking about losing in the future, you're thinking about how you might win in the future. And taking that forward into the second fight of the night, I'm sure your morale was still high and you were able to hold it here on the Monarch's Bluff. Would you care to take us through that fight? Yeah,
honestly, Monarch's Bluff, not the corners, but Monarch's Bluff is a farm war. I think that company, KOTT's Fan Club, has a lot of really solid players, and one thing that I really respect that they're doing is that they're committed to building up their roster, to get better, kind of in the same position that we are in, that we're committed to building up our roster and do get better. And I know that, a lot of the players, in that company are someone like TWTV Respect and Fruby, those are some of the best musket players I've ever seen play. And they come out, they lead a group of people that they're encouraging to continuously get better. And I think that as a company, obviously they have as a 50-man some room for improvement, but just being on two sides of two very different wars, I understand what it feels to be farmed and I understand what it feels to farm. So kind of compare and contrast, but as always, I appreciate the KOTT's Fan Club for pushing us and continuing to provide content in the game.
Well, you sound exhausted. It's been a long day. Thank you for taking the time to stop and talk to me. I'll let you go. Please enjoy a rest here in the hamlet. I'm sure I'd be happy to buy you a beer over at the inn behind us.
Turning to the weather once more, the sun continues its perilous journey across the Eternum sky. But once it's gone for the day, be on the lookout for a 30% chance of invasion rising up across the island. 2 more lineup submissions for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPco. Remember, if it isn't LARPco, it's cardboard. First up, the Covenant forces of Most Wanted attack the Marauders of Nothing Personal for control of the bear-infested deep forest of Brightwood. Most Wanted forces, growing more familiar with the new rules of simulated fantasy combat, increase their numbers with seasoned veterans and march into the woods to rouse the bears. But the forces of Nothing Personal get that. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, and they're gonna do what they gotta do. So we'll just see how it plays out by the end of the night with Nothing Personal. Meanwhile, the Marauders of Not Here Be Monsters challenge the Syndicate forces of Eviction Soju for their championship title and the right to rule over Everfall. Given the circumstances of the events surrounding HBM, this reporter can say with some degree of certainty that the HBM Dodgers did not in fact dodge HBM, but will Eviction Soju dodge them? Making a move to re-secure the centrally located regional hub, Not Here Be Monsters could really solidify the Marauder power structure of the island, if they can knock out the champs. We'll have the outcomes and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News.